Hello, travelers, and welcome. You've found a quiet place to rest, where stories unfold slowly and the world moves at a gentler pace. Before we begin tonight's journey, I'd like to gently invite you to subscribe to the channel and join our growing circle of travelers. Each week, a new calming journey awaits you here, ready whenever you need a peaceful escape. Now, there's nowhere you need to be and nothing you need to do. Just settle in, get comfortable, and allow the journey ahead to carry you calmly from place to place, breath to breath. Whenever you're ready, let's begin. Take a slow breath in, and as you exhale, imagine that you are standing at the top of a quiet hill in Lisbon, where the night has gently settled over the city like a soft indigo shawl. The air is mild, carrying a trace of the Atlantic, and the stones beneath your feet still hold a memory of the day's warmth. Above you, the sky is scattered with faint stars, visible between the silhouettes of tiled rooftops and old chimneys. You begin to walk. Your steps are unhurried, naturally slow, as though the city itself has invited you to match its evening rhythm. The calçada portuguesa, the patterned cobblestones beneath your shoes, form gentle mosaics of pale limestone and dark basalt. They curve in subtle waves, guiding you downhill through a narrow street lined with tall, time-worn buildings. Golden lanterns are mounted on wrought iron brackets, casting pools of honeyed light onto the stones. The glow is soft and forgiving, smoothing edges, deepening shadows, turning ordinary doorways into quiet thresholds of mystery. As you pass one doorway, you notice blue and white azulejos framing the entrance, hand-painted tiles depicting delicate flowers and maritime scenes. Their glazed surfaces shimmer faintly under the street light. A faint melody drifts through the air. Somewhere ahead, perhaps around the bend, a guitar is being played. The notes are slow and thoughtful, lingering in the warm night. They echo gently against the stone walls, blending with the soft murmur of distant voices. No one seems hurried. Conversations rise and fall like the tide, never sharp, never demanding. You continue downhill, your breathing steady, your shoulders relaxed. On your left, a small balcony overhangs the street. Laundry sways lightly on a line. White shirts and linen sheets moving in the breeze like quiet flags of surrender to the night. Behind a half-open window, a warm light glows, and you catch the faint clink of porcelain, perhaps someone finishing a late cup of tea. The street narrows further, and you place one hand briefly against the cool stone wall as you walk. The surface is uneven, textured by centuries of weather and touch. Lisbon is an old city, layered with history, Roman foundations, Moorish influences, medieval resilience, and the gentle scars of earthquakes long past. Yet tonight, none of that history feels heavy. It feels settled, peaceful, like a story that has already been told and now rests quietly. You reach a small square no larger than a courtyard. In its center stands a simple fountain, its water flowing in a thin, continuous stream. The sound is delicate, barely louder than a whisper, yet it anchors the space with calm certainty. A single jacaranda tree rises nearby, its branches spreading like an open hand. Though its purple blossoms are not in full bloom this season, a few petals cling softly, catching the light. You pause here. Allow yourself to stand still for a moment, listening. The guitar melody has shifted into a softer progression. The voices you heard earlier seem farther away now, softened by distance and stone. Somewhere above, a window closes gently. A cat crosses the square without a sound, disappearing into a shadowed alley. When you begin walking again, you choose a different street, one that slopes upward this time. The incline is gentle but steady, encouraging you to move slowly. The city unfolds in layers as you climb. Over the rooftops, you glimpse the faint outline of the Tagus River, reflecting a pale ribbon of moonlight. Your footsteps echo more distinctly here. Each step lands with a quiet, rhythmic certainty. Step, pause. Step, pause. The repetition becomes soothing, almost meditative. You feel grounded, connected to the present moment through the simple act of walking. A small cafe sits at the corner ahead. Its wooden door is propped open, and inside, a few patrons sit at round marble tables. Candles flicker in small glass holders. The scent of fresh bread and olive oil drifts outward, mingling with the faint sweetness of custard tarts cooling behind the counter. A chalkboard sign leans against the wall, its handwritten menu curling slightly at the edges. You do not enter, but you carry the warmth of the place with you as you continue past. The street grows quieter now. Fewer windows are lit. The guitar music has faded, replaced by the subtle hum of the city at rest. You notice the intricate ironwork on balconies above, spirals and leaves forged decades ago, still sturdy and elegant. Some balconies hold potted geraniums. Others are bare, their doors shuttered for the night. As you turn another corner, the pavement changes slightly, the stones smaller and more tightly set. The incline levels out, and before you stretches a viewpoint overlooking the sleeping city. A low stone wall marks the edge. You approach it slowly and rest your hands upon it. Below, Lisbon spreads out in gentle waves of rooftops and narrow lanes. Church domes and bell towers rise modestly among the buildings. The river curves beyond, wide and patient, Lights shimmer across its surface, elongated and trembling. You breathe in deeply. The air is cooler here, touched by the open water. It carries the faint scent of salt and distant ships. The night feels expansive, yet intimate. You are alone, but not lonely, surrounded by history, yet entirely present. After a few quiet minutes, you turn away from the view and follow a path that descends again, this time toward an older quarter of the city. The stones here are more uneven, and you step carefully, mindful but unafraid. The rhythm of your walk remains steady. In a narrow alley, you notice a single lantern still burning brightly. Beneath it, a tiled image of a saint watches over the street, protected by a small glass cover. A vase of fresh flowers rests at its base, petals luminous in the golden light. Someone has passed by recently, leaving this quiet offering. The simplicity of the gesture feels comforting. You continue on, letting the night guide you without destination. The city does not demand that you arrive anywhere. It simply invites you to move through it gently, to notice, to breathe, to soften. Your steps carry you onward, deeper into the calm embrace of Lisbon's ancient streets, where every corner holds a whisper, and every shadow cradles a story waiting to unfold. You follow the descending lane as it curves gently to the right, the stones beneath your feet polished smooth by generations of quiet footsteps. The night seems to deepen as you move farther from the viewpoint. The sky, now a darker shade of blue, like ink slowly spreading across parchment. A thin crescent moon hangs above the rooftops, caught delicately between two chimneys. The alley narrows until you can almost touch both sides if you stretch out your arms. The walls are painted in muted shades: faded saffron, pale turquoise, soft rose, colors softened by time. Here and there, the plaster has chipped away, revealing older layers beneath, as if the buildings themselves are breathing gently through their memories. A single lantern flickers at the far end of the lane. As you walk toward it, your shadow lengthens behind you, then folds away when you pass beneath the light. The air is still, yet not silent. Somewhere above, a quiet laugh drifts from an open window. The sound is brief, tender, and then gone. You reach a small archway built from pale stone. It frames another street beyond, one that slopes downward more steeply. Before passing through, you pause and run your fingers lightly along the cool curve of the arch. The stone feels steady and reassuring. It has stood here for centuries, watching seasons change, listening to countless stories unfold. Stepping through, you feel as though you are entering a softer layer of the city. This quarter seems older still. The cobblestones are irregular, and small steps are built directly into the slope of the street, forming a gentle staircase that winds downward. You descend slowly, mindful of each movement. Your breathing matches your pace, unhurried and calm. On your right, a wooden door, painted deep green, stands slightly ajar. Warm light spills out in a narrow ribbon across the stones. You hear the faint clatter of dishes being stacked, the quiet hum of someone tidying at the end of the day. The scent of garlic and olive oil lingers in the air, mingling with something sweet, perhaps cinnamon. The door closes softly, and the ribbon of light disappears. You continue downward. The guitar melody returns, closer now. The notes are gentle and deliberate, each one given space to breathe. You follow the sound as it leads you around another bend. Soon you arrive at a tiny square tucked between tall buildings, barely wide enough to be called a plaza. In its center stands a small cafe with 3 wooden tables set outside. Only one table is occupied. A man sits there alone, his head bowed slightly over a guitar resting against his knee. He is not performing for an audience. He is simply playing, as though the night itself were listening. A small lantern rests on his table, illuminating his hands as they move across the strings. You choose a bench along the edge of the square and sit for a moment. The stone beneath you holds a faint trace of warmth. You allow the melody to settle around you. The music is unhurried, filled with pauses that feel as meaningful as the notes themselves. The guitarist glances up briefly and offers a small nod of acknowledgement, a quiet greeting without words. You return the gesture, then close your eyes for a breath or two, letting the sound wash gently through you. When you open your eyes again, the square seems even calmer. A window above has gone dark. The lantern light reflects softly on the cafe's glass panes. Somewhere nearby, a clock chimes once, marking the passing hour with restrained dignity. You rise from the bench and continue your walk, the melody fading gradually behind you. The next street opens unexpectedly onto a wider avenue. Tram tracks run along its center, 2 slender lines of steel catching the moonlight. The street is empty for the moment, but you can almost imagine the familiar yellow tram that climbs these hills during the day, ringing its bell cheerfully as it navigates the curves. Tonight, however, the tracks rest quietly. Stretching ahead like parallel threads guiding you forward. You walk alongside them, your steps aligned with their steady path. Buildings here are taller, their facades adorned with patterned tiles. Some display intricate geometric designs. Others depict pastoral scenes, fields, ships, distant horizons. Under the soft glow of street lamps, the tiles shimmer faintly, as though holding tiny fragments of starlight. A gentle breeze stirs, carrying with it the faint scent of the river. You sense that you are drawing closer to the waterfront. The air feels slightly cooler, more open. As you approach an intersection, you notice a small chapel set back from the street. Its door is closed, but candles burn inside, their flames visible through a narrow window. The light is steady and golden. You pause outside for a moment, resting your hand lightly against the wooden door. You do not need to enter. The presence of the chapel is enough. A quiet reminder of stillness within stillness. Continuing on, you cross the tram tracks and follow a lane that slopes gently downward. The buildings begin to thin, and the sky seems wider overhead. Soon, the street opens onto a promenade lined with trees. Their leaves rustle softly in the night breeze, creating a sound like distant waves brushing against sand. Ahead of you, the Tagus River stretches wide and calm. Its surface reflects the scattered lights of the opposite shore, forming trembling pathways of gold and silver across the dark water. You step closer to the railing and rest your hands upon it. The metal is cool to the touch. A small boat moves slowly in the distance, its engine barely audible. The river carries it forward without hurry. You take a deep, steady breath. The openness of the waterfront contrasts gently with the narrow intimacy of the streets you have just walked. Here, the city feels expansive, spacious. The horizon invites your gaze to soften. You begin walking along the promenade, your steps aligned with the gentle curve of the riverbank. The trees cast elongated shadows across the pavement. Benches appear at intervals, each one empty, waiting patiently. As you walk, you notice subtle details. The way the lamplight forms halos in the thin mist rising from the water. The faint creak of moored boats shifting with the tide. The distant hum of a ship preparing to depart. A couple passes you quietly, their conversation low and affectionate. They nod politely as they move by, their footsteps fading into the distance. Soon, you are alone again, with the river and the night. Farther along, you come upon a small pier extending into the water. Drawn by quiet curiosity, you step onto it. The wooden planks creak gently beneath your weight. The river surrounds you on 3 sides now, vast and patient. At the end of the pier, you pause. The moon's reflection stretches toward you in a shimmering line. You watch it ripple and reform, ripple and reform as the current shifts. The rhythm is soothing, repetitive, timeless. You allow yourself to stand here for several slow breaths. When you finally turn back toward the city, you notice how softly it glows from this distance. The buildings form a layered silhouette against the sky. Church towers rise modestly among them, their outlines graceful and calm. Leaving the pier, you resume your walk along the promenade until you reach a staircase leading upward. The steps are broad and shallow, inviting rather than demanding. You ascend gradually, feeling the gentle effort in your legs, the steady flow of your breath. At the top of the stairs, you find yourself in another quiet neighborhood. This one feels residential, intimate. Potted plants line doorways. Small ceramic nameplates adorn walls. Curtains are drawn in most windows, though a few glow softly from within. You walk without destination, letting the streets guide you. They twist and turn in unexpected ways, revealing hidden corners and sudden views. Occasionally, you glimpse the river between buildings, a silver ribbon reminding you of its steady presence below. A narrow staircase appears to your left, climbing steeply between 2 houses. Curiosity draws you upward once more. The steps are worn smooth at their centers, evidence of countless journeys like yours. Halfway up, you pause and look back. The city spreads behind you in layered terraces. The lights seem softer now, as though the night itself has grown more tender. You continue climbing until you reach a small terrace at the top. A single bench faces outward, overlooking the rooftops. You sit. From here, Lisbon feels both vast and close. The rooftops form a gentle pattern of red and terracotta tiles. Occasional chimneys rise like quiet sentinels. Beyond them, the river gleams faintly. You rest your hands in your lap and let your gaze soften. The air is calm. The breeze has quieted. Even the distant sounds of the city seem muted, as though wrapped in velvet. Time feels slower here. After a while, you rise again, not out of urgency, but simply because the path continues. You descend a different staircase on the opposite side of the terrace, entering yet another winding street. This one is lined with small workshops, carpentry, tailoring, ceramics. Their shutters are closed, but hand-painted signs hang above each door, gently swaying in the faint breeze. You imagine the artisans who will return in the morning, unlocking their doors, sweeping their thresholds, beginning another quiet day of craft. As you walk, you notice the subtle fragrance of wood and clay lingering in the air. The street curves, and ahead you see a softly illuminated archway leading back toward a more central part of the city. You pass beneath it, your footsteps echoing briefly against the stone. The guitar melody returns once more, distant but familiar. It seems to weave through the streets like a golden thread, connecting the places you have been. You follow it, unhurried, allowing the sound to guide you deeper into the heart of the sleeping city, where lanterns glow softly, windows breathe warm light, and every cobblestone carries the quiet memory of countless gentle walks before yours. And so you continue, step by steady step, wrapped in the calm embrace of Lisbon's ancient night, knowing that the journey is still unfolding, and that the city, patient and luminous, has many more quiet streets waiting to welcome you. The melody leads you through another quiet turn, and as you follow it, the streets begin to rise once more beneath your feet. The incline is gentle but constant, encouraging you to slow your pace even further. Your breathing remains steady, matching the calm rhythm of your steps. The houses here are close together, their upper balconies nearly touching across the narrow street. Thin lines of laundry stretch overhead like soft banners, pale fabric shifting slightly in the night air. A faint scent of soap lingers, clean and reassuring. You pass beneath a lantern whose glass panels are slightly fogged from age. Its light spills downward in a soft amber circle, illuminating a small mosaic set into the wall. A ship with full sails, painted in deep blues and muted golds. The tiles shimmer gently, reflecting the lantern's glow. The guitar music grows clearer now, no longer distant. It carries a tone of quiet longing, but also comfort, as if the notes themselves understand the contours of these winding streets. You follow the sound until the alley opens into a longer corridor of stone steps climbing steadily upward. Each step is shallow, worn smooth in the center. You ascend without haste, your hand occasionally brushing the wall beside you for balance. The stone feels cool and grounding. Somewhere above, the sky widens slightly, revealing more of the moonlit blue. At the top of the staircase, you arrive at a small miradoro, a viewpoint perched quietly above the city. A wrought iron railing curves along the edge, and a few benches sit beneath tiled panels depicting pastoral scenes. The tiles glow faintly under the lanterns mounted on either side. The guitarist is here. He stands near the railing, facing the city, his instrument resting lightly against his chest. He is still playing, though more softly now, as if the music is meant for the rooftops and the river rather than for any passerby. You approach slowly, not wishing to disturb the fragile beauty of the moment. The view spreads before you in layered shadows and scattered lights. The Tagus glimmers in the distance, and the far shore appears as a dark ribbon against the horizon. The guitarist finishes his melody with a gentle final note that lingers in the air before dissolving into silence. He lowers the instrument and nods to you once more, a quiet acknowledgement of shared presence. Without words, you stand side by side, gazing outward. After a few breaths, he slips the guitar into a worn leather case and departs through a side path, his footsteps fading softly behind him. The night remains still, yet somehow fuller for the music that has just passed through it. You take a seat on one of the benches. The ceramic tiles behind you feel cool against your back. The city below appears peaceful, each rooftop gently overlapping the next like folded paper. A church tower rises slightly to the left, its clock face dim but visible. You let your gaze wander. A small square below is lit by a single street lamp. A stray cat crosses it, tail high, disappearing into a shadowed doorway. Somewhere farther off, a tram bell rings faintly, just once, before quiet returns. The air here is lighter, touched by the open sky. You notice how the breeze brushes your face, soft and steady. It carries hints of river water, stone, and distant gardens hidden behind courtyard walls. After resting for a while, you stand again and follow a narrow path that curves away from the viewpoint. This path is quieter still, bordered by low stone walls and clusters of potted plants, lavender, rosemary, small citrus trees. Their leaves release subtle fragrances as the breeze passes through. The street bends gently and then descends, guiding you into another layer of the neighborhood. Windows here are shuttered, painted in deep greens and blues. Decorative tiles frame doorways, each design slightly different, as though every home carries its own quiet signature. Your footsteps echo softly, then soften further as the pavement changes from stone to smoother cobblestone. The transition feels almost like stepping from one room into another within the same vast house. Ahead, you notice a small courtyard enclosed by tall walls. An old well stands at its center, capped with a wooden cover. Vines climb the walls, their leaves catching glints of moonlight. You step inside. The courtyard is silent, except for the faint rustle of leaves. You rest your hand lightly on the edge of the well. The wood is worn, but sturdy. You imagine the countless evenings this space has witnessed. Quiet conversations, laughter, solitude. Looking upward, you see only a square of sky framed by stone. A few stars shimmer overhead. You remain there for a few long breaths, letting the stillness settle deeper within you. When you leave the courtyard, the path leads you toward a slightly wider street where old lanterns hang at regular intervals. Their light forms overlapping circles on the ground, creating a gentle rhythm of brightness and shadow as you walk through them. A bakery window catches your attention. Though closed for the night, trays of bread rest on wooden shelves inside. Round loaves, dusted lightly with flour, sit patiently for the morning. The glass reflects the lantern light, layering your faint reflection over the quiet interior. You continue on, turning another corner, and the sound of distant water reaches your ears once more. Not the broad openness of the river this time, but something smaller. Perhaps a hidden fountain or narrow canal tucked between buildings. Following the sound, you discover a small stone fountain set into a wall. Water trickles steadily from a simple spout into a shallow basin. The sound is delicate, rhythmic, soothing. You pause and listen. The water flows without effort, without interruption. Its steady presence feels grounding, like a quiet heartbeat within the city. Beyond the fountain, the street slopes gently downward again. You follow it, sensing that the night is guiding you in gentle loops, up and down, outward and inward, like the slow breathing of the city itself. The rooftops begin to open slightly, and you glimpse once more the distant gleam of the river. The horizon remains calm, unchanged, steady. Your walk continues without destination, each step deliberate yet effortless. The city offers no urgency, only invitation. And so you move onward through the ancient streets, beneath lantern light and moonlight, past shuttered windows and quiet doorways, carried gently by the rhythm of your own footsteps, deeper into the tranquil heart of Lisbon's night. The street continues its gentle descent, and as you follow it, the texture of the city begins to shift once more. The buildings grow slightly taller, their facades adorned with more elaborate iron balconies and intricate tile work that catches the lantern light in delicate patterns. Your footsteps remain steady, unhurried, each one landing with quiet certainty against the smooth stones. The night feels deeper now, as though the hours have slipped softly forward. Fewer windows glow, and the murmurs of conversation have faded into a distant hush. Yet the city does not feel empty. It feels as though it is resting, breathing slowly, comfortably, wrapped in its own long history. You turn into a narrow lane that slopes toward a hidden garden terrace. A low archway frames the entrance, and beyond it, you glimpse greenery softened by moonlight. Drawn by quiet curiosity, you pass beneath the arch. The terrace opens unexpectedly, suspended above the lower rooftops. A small garden stretches before you, planted with olive trees and climbing vines. Stone benches curve along the edges, and in the center stands a circular mosaic set into the ground, its design formed from tiny pieces of white and cobalt tile. The leaves of the olive trees shimmer faintly as a breeze brushes through them. The sound is subtle, like the faint turning of pages in a distant room. You walk slowly along the curved path, tracing the edge of the mosaic with your gaze. The air here feels slightly warmer, protected by the surrounding walls. Somewhere nearby, perhaps beyond the garden wall, a late-night radio plays softly, barely audible, just a faint hum of melody carried on the wind. You sit on one of the stone benches and allow your shoulders to soften. From this terrace, the rooftops below form a layered tapestry of terracotta and shadow. A few chimneys release thin trails of smoke that drift upward and dissolve into the dark sky. You notice how the lantern light from distant streets creates gentle constellations across the city. Each light represents a quiet interior, a story unfolding behind closed doors. The thought feels comforting rather than distant. You are part of this quiet tapestry, moving gently through it. After resting, you rise and follow a small staircase at the far end of the terrace. The steps spiral downward, narrower than before, and you descend carefully. The walls curve around you, guiding you back toward the winding streets. At the base of the staircase, you emerge into a neighborhood that feels closer to the heart of the old quarter. The alleys are narrower, the stones more uneven. Lanterns hang at varying heights, some casting brighter pools of light, others glowing faintly as if half dreaming. A tiled image of a sailing ship decorates one wall, its sails full and proud against a painted sea. You pause for a moment, tracing the outlines with your eyes. Lisbon's long relationship with the ocean feels present even here, far from the waterfront. The sea seems to live in the patterns of the tiles, in the scent of the air, in the steady rhythm of the city's breath. You continue walking, until you hear the faint echo of your footsteps bouncing back toward you from an unseen corner. The acoustics of the narrow streets create a gentle call and response. Step, echo, step, echo. Like a quiet dialogue between you and the stones. The lane widens gradually into a small praça, its cobblestones arranged in intricate waves. In the center stands a tall lamppost with 4 lanterns branching outward like petals. Their combined glow creates a warm circle of light, illuminating the facades of the surrounding buildings. Most of the shutters here are closed, painted in deep blues and forest greens. One window remains open, its curtains billowing softly outward. From inside comes the faint clink of glass and the low murmur of a voice speaking gently, perhaps reading aloud or telling a story. You cross the praça slowly, your footsteps softening as you move through the brighter light. At the far end, a narrow passage beckons, partially hidden behind a cluster of potted plants, basil, thyme, and small flowering shrubs. You follow this passage, and it leads you toward a familiar sound. The distant hum of the river once again. Though you cannot see it yet, you sense its presence. The air feels slightly more open, and the breeze carries a coolness that brushes your cheeks. The passage slopes downward, curving gently to the left. You move carefully, attentive to each step. The stones here are older, more irregular, and their edges catch the light in subtle ways. As you round the curve, the street opens onto a broader avenue lined with tall plane trees. Their branches arch overhead, forming a canopy that filters the moonlight into delicate fragments. The leaves rustle softly, creating a sound that blends with the distant rhythm of water. You walk beneath the trees, your shadow stretching and shrinking as you pass beneath each lantern. The rhythm of light and shade continues, steady and predictable, like a slow heartbeat guiding you forward. To your right, a wrought iron gate stands slightly ajar. Beyond it lies a small courtyard cafe, long since closed for the night. Chairs are stacked neatly on tables, and a chalkboard menu rests against the wall, its lettering faintly visible in the glow of a nearby lamp. You pause at the gate, but do not enter. Instead, you continue along the avenue until you reach a stone balustrade overlooking the lower city. Here, the view opens once more. The Tagus stretches wide and calm, reflecting the moon in a trembling silver path. A large ship rests quietly near the far shore, its lights steady and bright. The water moves slowly, barely disturbed. You lean gently against the balustrade and breathe in the cool air. The scent of salt and distant tides fills your lungs. The city behind you feels warm. The river before you feels vast and open. Between them, you stand in perfect balance. After a few lingering moments, you turn back toward the streets. The avenue continues in the opposite direction, leading you away from the river and back into the layered embrace of the old neighborhoods. You follow it until it narrows again, becoming a winding street that climbs gradually upward. The incline is gentle but persistent, encouraging you to slow even more. Your steps remain light, your breathing calm. The buildings here display more elaborate tile facades, geometric patterns in shades of indigo and ivory, floral motifs curling gracefully along the walls. The tiles catch the lantern light and seem almost alive, shifting subtly as you pass. You reach a small doorway left open to the night. Inside, a single candle burns on a narrow table beneath a framed painting. The flame flickers, but does not waver. You pause just long enough to notice the quiet steadiness of its glow before continuing on. The street curves once more, and you realize that the night has grown even more still. The guitar melody you followed earlier is gone now, leaving only the soft sounds of wind, distant water, and your own measured steps. Yet the absence of music does not feel empty. It feels spacious, like a quiet pause between breaths. You climb a final gentle rise and find yourself in another small square, this one almost entirely dark, except for a single lantern near a stone bench. You approach the bench and sit for a moment, letting the stillness settle deeply within you. The rooftops around you form a protective circle, and above them, the sky stretches wide and clear. The crescent moon has shifted slightly, marking the slow passage of time. You close your eyes briefly, feeling the cool air on your skin, the steady ground beneath you, the quiet presence of the ancient city all around. When you open them again, you rise and continue your walk, knowing that there are still more winding streets to explore, more lanterns to pass beneath, more quiet corners waiting patiently ahead. And so you move forward, deeper into the tranquil heart of Lisbon's night, carried gently by the rhythm of your own footsteps as the city unfolds around you in soft layers of shadow and light. You leave the quiet square behind and follow a gently curving lane that seems almost to fold in on itself. The buildings lean close, their upper stories nearly touching, creating a sheltered corridor where the night feels deeper and more intimate. The lantern light here is softer, filtered through slightly clouded glass, casting a muted amber glow that pools quietly on the stones. Your footsteps echo less now, absorbed by the narrowness of the passage. The air feels still, wrapped in a delicate hush. Somewhere far off, a door closes gently, followed by silence once more. As you walk, you notice how the texture of the cobblestones changes again. Some are smooth and rounded, others irregular and slightly raised. You adjust your pace instinctively, moving with calm attentiveness. Each step becomes a small act of balance, a quiet exchange between you and the ground beneath you. A wrought iron balcony overhead holds several potted plants that spill gently over the railing. Their leaves cast intricate shadows on the wall, trembling faintly in the night breeze. You pause beneath them, looking up. A curtain shifts behind the glass door, then settles. The lane bends left and then right, guiding you through a subtle maze. You do not feel lost. Instead, you feel gently led, as though the streets themselves are guiding you toward some unspoken destination. A faint golden glow appears ahead, warmer and steadier than the lanterns. As you approach, you realize it comes from a small workshop whose shutters remain half open. Inside, an elderly craftsman sits at a wooden table, polishing a piece of ceramic. The light from a single lamp illuminates his careful hands and the curved surface of the bowl he is shaping. He does not look up, yet his presence feels calm and grounded. The soft scrape of cloth against clay reaches your ears, rhythmic and unhurried. You pause just long enough to witness the quiet devotion in his movements, then continue on, leaving him to his gentle work. The street slopes downward once more, and with each step, you sense the river drawing nearer. The air grows slightly cooler, touched again by that faint breath of salt. You pass a series of tiled facades painted in deep blues and whites, their patterns forming delicate geometric waves. Under the lantern light, the tiles seem almost fluid, echoing the movement of water beyond the rooftops. The lane opens into a broader street where tram tracks gleam faintly. This time, you hear the distant hum of a tram approaching. It appears slowly from around a curve, yellow and modest, its windows glowing softly. It passes you at a gentle pace, its wheels humming against the rails. Inside, only a few passengers sit quietly, their faces relaxed in the warm light. The tram continues uphill and disappears, leaving behind a faint metallic echo that fades into the night. You cross the tracks and follow a descending path that leads toward the waterfront once more. The buildings begin to thin, replaced by open spaces and low stone walls. The sky widens overhead, revealing a scattering of stars beyond the crescent moon. Soon, you reach the river promenade again, but at a different point than before. This stretch feels quieter, less frequented. Wooden benches line the path, and small lamps cast elongated reflections across the pavement. You walk alongside the river, listening to the gentle lap of water against the shore. The tide moves with slow, patient rhythm. A buoy in the distance rocks slightly, its faint metallic chime barely audible. Halfway along the promenade, you notice a narrow staircase descending toward a small dock. You follow it carefully. The wood beneath your feet creaks softly, yet feels steady. At the edge of the dock, you stop. The river stretches endlessly before you, dark and shimmering. The opposite shore is dotted with sparse lights, each one steady and unwavering. A cool breeze brushes past, carrying with it the vastness of open water. You sit at the edge of the dock and let your feet rest lightly against the wooden planks. The water reflects the moon in broken fragments, shifting gently with each subtle wave. You breathe in. The rhythm of the tide feels deeply soothing. Inhale, exhale. The water moves. Inhale, exhale. The city behind you rests quietly. After a time, you stand once more and climb back to the promenade. The lanterns glow softly, their halos forming gentle circles of light. You begin walking in the opposite direction now, allowing the river to remain at your side. As you move, you notice how the city lights shimmer faintly across the surface of the water, creating long, trembling pathways that stretch toward you and then dissolve. The promenade curves gradually, leading you toward a small stone archway that guides you back into the heart of the old quarter. You pass beneath it, feeling once more the embrace of narrow streets and layered rooftops. The night is quieter than ever now. Most windows are dark. Only a few lanterns remain lit, casting soft pools of amber against the facades. You walk slowly uphill, the incline gentle and steady. Your steps are light, your breath even. The city seems to cradle you in its ancient calm. A final staircase appears before you, leading to a small terrace you have not yet seen. You climb it without hurry. At the top, you find a secluded overlook framed by low stone walls and climbing ivy. From here, Lisbon stretches in all directions. rooftops layered like quiet waves, church towers rising modestly, the river gleaming faintly beyond. You approach the wall and rest your hands upon it. The air is cool and clear. The crescent moon hangs lower now, nearing the horizon. The city feels suspended between wakefulness and dream. You stand here for several long, unhurried breaths, allowing the stillness to settle deeply within you. The entire journey, the winding alleys, the glowing lanterns, the quiet squares, the river's gentle tide, seems to gather softly around this moment. And as you remain there, gazing over the tranquil rooftops, you sense that the night is guiding you toward its final, peaceful unfolding, inviting you to continue just a little farther into its calm embrace. You remain at the overlook for a few more quiet breaths, your hands resting lightly on the cool stone, your gaze drifting across the gentle rise and fall of Lisbon's rooftops. The city seems to shimmer faintly beneath the moon, as though each tiled surface carries a memory of sunlight and now reflects it back in softened silver. The crescent moon lowers gradually, edging closer to the horizon where the Tagus stretches wide and patient. The river appears darker now, yet its surface still catches thin threads of light that tremble and reform with each subtle movement of the tide. You feel no urgency to move. The night has unfolded slowly around you, guiding you through winding alleys, quiet squares, hidden terraces, and open promenades. Now it invites you to linger in this high and peaceful place, suspended between earth and sky. A faint breeze brushes past, carrying the cool breath of the river upward through the narrow streets. It slips across your face and through your hair, gentle and steady. Somewhere below, a shutter closes softly. The sound rises and dissolves into the open air. After a while, you turn from the overlook and allow your feet to find a new path. A narrow lane descends from the terrace, bordered by low, whitewashed walls. Small lanterns, spaced far apart, glow dimly along the way, leaving long stretches of shadow between them. You walk slowly into that alternating rhythm of light and darkness. In the darker stretches, the sky feels wider above you. The stars appear clearer now, freed from the stronger glow of the lower streets. They shimmer faintly, scattered like grains of salt across deep blue velvet. Your steps are quiet, almost weightless. The lane curves gently and opens into a secluded courtyard you have not yet seen. At its center stands a small stone fountain, different from the one before. This one round and shallow, its water nearly still, reflecting the sky like a mirror. The surface trembles only slightly, disturbed by the softest trickle from a hidden spout. You approach the fountain and look down. The crescent moon rests within the water's reflection, curved and delicate. A star glints beside it. When a faint ripple passes across the surface, the moon fractures briefly, then reforms. You sit on the low stone edge of the fountain and let your hands rest in your lap. The courtyard walls rise protectively around you, covered in climbing ivy that rustles faintly when the breeze returns. A wooden door nearby bears a painted tile of a small blue flower. Its color glows gently in the lantern light. You listen. The city is nearly silent now. Even the distant hum of the river seems softer, as though the tide itself has grown drowsy. After some time, you stand once more and continue through a narrow passage at the edge of the courtyard. The passage slopes downward, guiding you carefully between tall buildings whose upper windows are dark and still. A cat watches you from a doorstep, its eyes catching a glint of light before it slips silently away. The lane widens slightly, revealing a final staircase that descends in broad, shallow steps. You move down them at an easy pace, one hand grazing the cool wall beside you. At the bottom, you find yourself in a quiet square that feels both familiar and new. The cobblestones form soft waves beneath your feet. A single lamppost stands at the center, its glow steady and warm. You cross the square slowly. At its far end, a narrow street leads toward the river. One last time. You follow it, sensing that your walk is drawing toward its most peaceful hour. The air grows cooler as you approach the waterfront. The buildings fall away, replaced by open sky and the wide, dark expanse of water. The promenade lies empty now, the benches unoccupied, the lamps dimmer than before. You walk to the railing and rest your hands upon it once again. The Tagus flows quietly before you, reflecting only a handful of distant lights. The opposite shore is nearly invisible, a faint shadow against the horizon. The moon hovers low, preparing to slip behind the hills. You breathe deeply. Inhale the cool, salt-kissed air. Exhale slowly, releasing the last traces of tension. The river continues its patient movement, indifferent to time, steady and enduring. You close your eyes for a moment and allow the sounds to settle. The soft lap of water, the whisper of wind, the far-off creak of a moored boat shifting gently with the tide. When you open your eyes, you notice the faintest hint of change along the horizon, a subtle paling of the sky, barely perceptible, suggests that dawn is still hours away, yet slowly approaching. The night feels complete. You turn from the river and begin walking back into the quiet streets, though your pace is even slower now, as if each step carries you deeper into rest rather than forward through distance. The cobblestones seem smoother beneath your feet. The lanterns glow more softly. The city feels wrapped in a tranquil hush that borders on dream. You pass once more beneath an archway, through a narrow lane, up a gentle rise. The rooftops surround you like protective waves of terracotta and stone. At last, you reach a small doorway set into a pale wall. A simple wooden bench rests beside it. You sit. From here, you can see only a sliver of sky between the buildings. The crescent moon has nearly disappeared beyond the horizon, leaving behind a deeper shade of blue. You rest your back against the wall and allow your eyes to grow heavy. The city breathes around you, slow, steady, ancient. Your own breath mirrors it. Inhale. Exhale. There is nothing more you need to do. The winding streets have carried you gently through their lantern-lit curves. The river has offered its calm reflection. The rooftops have watched over you in quiet companionship. Now, the night offers you rest. You allow your shoulders to soften completely, your thoughts to drift like the tide. The last faint sounds of Lisbon's ancient heart fade into a peaceful hush. And as the sky begins its slow, unseen turning toward dawn, you remain wrapped in the city's tranquil embrace, carried effortlessly into stillness. As our journey comes to a gentle close, allow yourself to drift deeper into rest. If you enjoyed traveling with me tonight, you're warmly invited to like this video, share it with a fellow traveler, and subscribe to the channel for more calming journeys like this one. New travel, sleep stories are released every week, always waiting for you when you're ready to unwind. Until next time, rest well and travel peacefully.